Do you ever see a successful woman on your feed or in a magazine and think, wow, it must be nice to have it so easy? Well, think again. Behind that glossy cover or smiling face is a ton of hard work, countless failures, and endless learning experiences. I'm Rebecca Minkoff, and I'm here to tell you that success isn't a walk in the park. It takes grit, resilience, and a willingness to take risks. That's why I created Superwoman, a podcast that peels back the varnish and gets into the nitty-gritty of what it takes to make it as a woman in today's world. From luminaries and game changers to women you've never heard of but should, this podcast is here to inspire you to take your next leap, no matter how daunting it may seem. We'll explore the sacrifices these women have made, the highs and lows they've experienced, and the lessons they've learned along the way. So if you're ready to be inspired and learn from some of the most successful women out there, join me on Superwomen. Together, we'll uncover the stories behind the successes and prove that with hard work, determination, and a little bit of luck, anything is possible. Hey everyone, you're listening to Superwomen. Today's guest is the Rachel Katzman, the founder of Pvolve. After physically feeling terrible and not looking the way she wanted, doing a ton of discovery in the fitness space, Rachel decided it was time to take matters into her own hands and develop a method that would give you strength, stability, and make you look and feel your best. Out comes Pvolve, and she has transformed an industry with her own method. With partnerships like Jennifer Aniston and over 20 franchises, Rachel is just getting started. Take a listen. Rachel, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks so much for having me. So excited.
I guess first off, have you always been into health and fitness?
No, not always. Definitely for the last, 10-ish years, 8, 10 years. I didn't kind of grow up in a very healthy family or household that really kind of cared about organic and what you put in your body and, all that kind of stuff. I really found my way into the health and wellness world in my early 20s. I was living in New York City and I just woke up one day and I looked in the mirror and I'm like, I don't recognize who that person is. You kind of can't eat and do the same things that maybe you did as a teenager and expect to look the same way.
Yep.
And so when I started on my health journey, for me, the first step was fitness, working out. So I really bounced around to every studio in New York City, took every single class you could imagine. And really a few things happened. Like one, I hated working out. It felt like such a chore. It was always like, oh, I have to go to this class and I want to cancel and I don't want to go. Number two, I would keep going to different studios because I physically wasn't seeing the results that I wanted to see. And then third, my body was in so much pain, specifically back pain from all these high intensity workouts that I was doing. And my scoliosis was flaring up. And I just felt like I'm doing something and putting in the time, money, effort to something that's supposed to make me look and feel better. And I was almost looking and feeling worse.
Yeah.
And I walked into a studio in, downtown New York, and all these trainers were teaching functional fitness. And I was like, I've never heard of that before, but okay. And I liked going. My body felt amazing after class. I started to look the way I wanted to look, and my back pain was gone. And I just felt like, oh my God, like what is it about this style of working out that is making me have all these incredible results? And then when I started, doing my own research on it, I really started to understand that from the time we wake up and we go to sleep, our bodies are moving, in all planes of motion. You're reaching, you're bending, you're rotating, you're picking up something, you're putting away something. Your body's kind of moving in 3D. And why aren't we training our bodies like that when we do go to work out? So that when we do leave that class, you still have all these incredible, amazing benefits. And so I never really expected to be in this space or start a company in this space, but I just I had all this confidence. I just felt like, oh my God, I have this secret sauce of you can look amazing, but your body will feel 10 times better with this style of movement. And I just wanted to, share it with so many people.
I love that you found something called functional fitness, but also having taken your class many times, it's really unique, and it's not like there's a lot of things that are very similar, but nothing you do in your classes are similar at all. Like you have the
Hmm.
mat, you have the grips, you have the ball. I found it very refreshing. So how, as someone who didn't necessarily come from a training background, right? You sort of figured it out as you got your body healthy. How did you even know where to start? Because I feel like if someone was like, okay, become start learning this, I would be overwhelmed with the options.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up in a very entrepreneurial family. So I think just business conversation was always like a part of my life. Um, I didn't really know how to start a business. I didn't go to college. I just had this like big vision idea. And I was really looking for a business partner, someone, who had more experience than me, somebody I could learn from to really kind of help me get this off the ground from a business operational side. And then from the training side, my co-founder was my ex-husband. He was one of the trainers, along with many other trainers who have helped really evolve this method into what you see today. And it's definitely been an evolution from, when we started it to now of not only maybe what my body needs, but as we've grown and our members have grown of what they want to see from us and, different class types and different things, but really kind of making sure that I had like a really well-rounded bench around me to kind of help bring these things to life.
So you had a business partner and then you had your ex-husband. Are you still with your business partner and or
Hmm.
working with your ex-husband?
I am still with my business partner
Okay.
and not working with my ex-husband now.
Okay. So in the early days of building it, what was that like?
Oh my God, crazy. Those are like the fun, crazy days of, trying to get something launched and doing every single thing and not sleeping and just like wearing every single hat. And really, when we launched in November of 2017, I mean, it was like the shittiest website you've ever seen. I taught myself how to edit all of our streaming videos. Like there was no microphones, no lights. We just kind of wanted really scrappy to put something out there. We did launch with our P-ball, one of our patented hero products, and wanted to really put more of the investment into making the physical products and just, are people interested in a new way to move their body? Back then we were talking about women's health and longevity, and you don't have to break down your body to get a good workout. You don't have to leave the gym hunched over and dripping sweat. And, pain doesn't necessarily equal gain. And, if you think like 7, 8 years ago, that's really what everybody thought. And it was like, just wanted to get, test it, put something out there. And the response was amazing of so many people, really specifically women, kind of tired of beating down their bodies, of I go to this class, I'm injured, now I can't work out, and I can't do the things I used to do when I was younger because my body can't perform that way. And really with Pvolve, you can have the amazing sculpt and tone and definition, but you get this incredible strength and you work on flexibility, stability, mobility, all these very important things, specifically around, as we age and when you think about like sustainable fitness. And it's amazing, these results that everybody gets from it.
So you are now in an arena where like there's a fitness center place, basically, at least in New York City, every other
Hmm.
block, right? And there are these
Yeah.
alliances that people have to those places. Obviously, when you started, that wasn't necessarily the case. And it kind of, I feel like, hit its stride 2019, 2020, took a pause when everything shut down and now is in full bloom again. How would you say you've had to leverage your business to compete both online and offline and also stand out in what I feel is like an overwhelming amount of options?
Yeah, the options are crazy. I mean, I think first and foremost, it is unique. This isn't like it's just a new cycling studio on a new corner with like hot trainers and better music and better lights.
Let me just interrupt you. Having a hot trainer is very inspiring.
Yes, for sure, for sure. But um, you know, I think I always tell people like give Pvolve like 3 classes because sometimes it takes a minute of like, ooh, okay, what was that? Um, I think for us, we've always also had this like omni-channel business model where you can do it in person or online. And I think for some businesses before COVID, you really were either like a digital company or you were an in-person company. And I think after COVID, you know, people have tried to like do both, because I think for some people, like they really realize I can get an amazing workout at home. And maybe I don't have time to go every day to the gym. And I want the option and the flexibility to be able to go in person when I want, because there's nothing like an in person class. Or I'm traveling or I don't have time and I want to do something at home. And for us, that was really important to be able to have that option and to have studios start to pop up all over the country, but really also make sure that we're feeding that digital arm. And I think there is room for so many players in this space, but you have to be unique and different. It can't like just be the same over and over again. I think that has really helped us stand out is the workout, the method, and the equipment, and really the results that you get from it.
When someone from your viewpoint is looking to change, so I guess I'll give a personal example. Like I thought for, I guess it was 4 years, running would just, one day I would be in shape from running. And I kept running 2 miles every day, injuring my knee, kept running. Nothing changed. And I don't know why it took me like a late night doom scroll into like, when did I look and feel my best into like, the 2014 era. And I was like, oh, I was lifting weights. Duh. To go back into taking classes and not even lifting heavy weights, but just lifting again, which then that's when I saw the changes. So what would you say to like your method and a woman who's trying to attack this, but just like you said, you were hitting a wall. You weren't looking and feeling like you were supposed to.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think it's very important that you actually find something that you enjoy. Like working out shouldn't make you feel worse. Moving your body is such a gift to be able to move it. And whether it's Pvolve or it's something else, like you just have to find things that you like, or it's not going to become a habit and be a consistent part of your weekly routine. And I think there's so much information out there and we tend to, oh my God, that's what she's doing. I'm going to go. And that's exactly how I want to work out and I want to eat and I wanted this, but everybody's body responds differently to different things. And especially in different stages and chapters of your life and kind of where you are and you fall into that. And I think people are starting to understand that whether it's knee pain or shoulder pain or back pain, like that's not normal and you don't have to live like that daily or push through that. And I think, the topics that are happening right now, specifically around women and women's fitness and health and the importance of strength training and resistance training and weight training. And if you do lift weights and even heavy weights, you're not going to bulk up. Like I thought that when in my early 20s, I was like, I'm not touching a weight. No, 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 no. And now I love doing it.
Yeah.
And I think there's just so many misconceptions and some of that information, is now more available to everybody to make better choices for themselves.
Yeah. So let's go back to building the business. I'd love to touch on some of the, even it can be now or early, like some of the things you encountered, like you said, you didn't go to college. I didn't either. Like the things you just didn't know you should have known, right? Or you would have learned having maybe worked for someone else for a while that really slammed you in the face and made you better as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, but that at the time were like the hard lessons.
Oh my God, so many. I mean, definitely learning how to manage people and a team, I still have trouble with that, or boundaries at all, when you are building a team.
Boundaries with your boundaries or their boundaries or both?
Oh, probably mine. Like, I don't really have boundaries at all. Yeah, managing and communication, definitely something that I've had to really work on of like, I don't like confrontation at all, but having to like pick up the phone and have a conversation and just be direct with somebody and like in the moment, that's definitely one that I've really worked on for the past couple of years. But I think sometimes, at the beginning of just wanting to go so fast, of like go, 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 and, maybe not hiring the right people or the right agencies and really having to learn like it's okay if it's a failure. I'm going to learn from this, but just really fail fast, like act quick, but fail fast. And what did we
Yeah.
learn and be able to pivot from that? I think at the beginning too, like if I was in a room and people were using different like business terms or this, maybe at first I just like nod my head, pretend I knew what everybody was talking about because I didn't want to be embarrassed. Like, well, what does that stand for? What does that mean? Can you show me that again? And now, like, I don't care. I never want to be the smartest person in the room at all. I want to surround myself with people that are way more knowledgeable than me. And if I have a million questions, I'll ask a million questions. I think all those failures really help you kind of learn and get better. And I don't really look at them as true failures. You know, I think everything always happens for a reason and kind of leads you to the next place.
What would you say was that moment that got you over that hump? Because I remember being in a room and I was like you, I was embarrassed to ask the questions. And then, for me, took my brother kind of not yelling at me, but being like, dude, you got to learn this stuff. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you don't just get to be the designer, and it'll make you a better designer if you learn this stuff. So that was like a shove of reality into my face. But what was your real moment that just was like, oh, fuck it, I got to ask the questions?
I'm trying to like pinpoint one. I've had moments like that, definitely where whether it's my dad or somebody asking me certain questions about the business, and maybe I fully didn't know the answer because now we have more team members and I'm not doing those things every day of like the scariest parts or maybe the areas of the business you don't know, but it's only scary because you don't know them. And
Right.
if you actually just like sit down and take the time or schedule one-on-one time with someone like, hey, maybe I'm not going to take up your time in a meeting of 10 people, but afterwards, will you go sit with me separately and like really walk me through this and kind of maybe in more of like a quiet, private space? Let me ask those questions and start to get comfortable.
Yeah.
That really helped me out at the beginning too.
Yeah. So what would you say your challenges that await you or are you currently in as you look to grow the business?
This is a really hard industry. It's a really, tough industry. Like you said, it's crowded. There's so many different options. And I think our biggest strength is sometimes also our biggest weakness is that this is new. It isn't like, well, what's Pvolve? Oh, it's Pilates, it's yoga, it's cycling. It's like it really is its own thing. And sometimes it takes a minute to explain it, or it takes a minute, to like whether it's a couple of classes to kind of get someone to understand it. But when it clicks, our members stay with us for so
Yeah.
long because it is unlike anything else. But when you are doing something new, it takes education, and it's a lot of repetition and just over and over again, and still trying to change people's minds around fitness that you really don't have to break your body down.
Right.
You can do, other things, whether it is functional fitness or it's more low impact classes and still get those incredible results and have your body feeling 10 times better.
Yeah. It's funny because in New York, you're in this like little microcosm of like, well, everybody works out. Everyone knows everything about fitness. And then it's like you just go outside of the city and it's just like people don't know much or they don't understand or they're not as exposed to all the knowledge that's so great that it's online now that you can learn these things, especially I
Yeah.
feel like through podcasts. There's so many great health experts that are, saying how it doesn't have to be like you mentioned, breaking your body down, starving yourself,
Yeah.
all the things we've been taught that we shouldn't do as women.
Well, and I think it's also trying to be in tune with your body and figure out like what makes me feel good,
Yeah.
and like, yeah, I love listening to podcasts. I listen to so many and I want to take in so much, information, but it's maybe I take one or two things from that expert I heard, or maybe it's one or two things from this girl I was listening to. And it's like everybody is going to have their own kind of end all be all, and this is what you have to do, and this is the only way to be. But I think it's really about testing and trying and like, how did that food make me feel? How did that class make me feel? And just kind of learning to be in control of you and your body.
Yeah. So what are you excited about? What's next for Pvolve and you
Oh my
personally?
God. For Pvolve, we have a bunch of new studios opening up. By the end of the year, we should have about 20
Wow.
locations opened. Crazy. We started franchising back in 2020. So now it's kind of like they're all starting to
Yeah.
open and more next year, which is super exciting. We have some fun challenges coming up for fall, and then obviously for New Year's, some more amazing new Jennifer Aniston content coming out soon. And just growing our community, and getting more people to know about us and experience the incredible results. And then I'd say for me personally, what's next? I've been like traveling nonstop, crazy, and my body does not do well with that. And so I think for me, like my next focus for health wise is just kind of how I can sustain with all the travel for work and kind of not have the like up and down, up and down. I'm so tired. I can't get, I want to like get my body kind of to the next place of optimal health so that I can run around and do all these things and feel great.
Does that mean you stop traveling, or you're just going to be like one of those people that drinks, I don't know, that fasts on airplanes and wears EMF blankets and all that stuff?
I need to learn how to sleep better when I travel. I think because like for me, sleep is like everything. I mean, I'm sure like you get an amazing night of sleep, you wake up, you feel like Superwoman. You get a shit night's sleep and you're like, oh my God, I can't function.
Yeah.
And when I'm like not home in my own bed, I can't sleep.
Oh,
so I need to figure that out. I got to find some new tricks.
Melatonin and box breathing are my like secret weapons.
Okay, I got to try the box breathing.
Yeah, I do it every night. And then when I wake up in the middle of the night because of my baby, I do it. And I maybe get under 5, but like, 5 times. And then I'm fucking knocked out and I'm in my REM. Yeah, it's wild.
Okay, I'm going to try it tonight.
It's just not good when you're having nightmares. Like last night, every time I fell asleep, I would box breathe into like a nightmare. And I was like, this is not what I wanted.
I'm going to try it.
Just before I ask you the last 2 questions, we do need to talk about Jennifer Aniston. Nothing personal about her, obviously, but like, what made you pick her? And what have you, like, a lot of people will hire a celebrity spokesperson. They're not, inexpensive. And how did you know she was the right pick, and what have you seen it do for the business?
Well, what's crazy is that we did not pick her. She actually reached out to us.
Wow.
Which is insane.
That's fucking cool.
Mean, yeah, it's insane. For a long time, we internally talked about like, we really do need a spokesperson. We are looking for some, but nobody ever really felt like the right fit for us. And like when we would make lists, like back in the day, like she wouldn't even be on there. Like obviously, oh my God, Jennifer Aniston, like who embodies like health and wellness better than her? And like she's everything, but she wouldn't even be on the list because it's so like that would never happen. Like no way.
Right.
And we got an email from someone from her team and was like, do you guys offer personal training sessions? I work for Jennifer Aniston. She's been at home streaming. She would love to do an in-person. And I really thought it was a fucking joke. And I was like, don't even respond to this. Like, that's like the rudest email anyone could ever send. And then like the girls were like, no, like we're Googling who this is. I think it really kind of, maybe she works for her. We're going to call her. And then we sent, our amazing trainer, Danny Coleman, there in LA. I'm like, you have to call me immediately after. Like, it's probably her friend or something. I don't know. She's like, no, she had all the equipment. She knew like the Pvolve, the P-band. She loved it. And for her, she has done so many things. And she finally found something kind of very similar to me that wouldn't aggravate some of her injuries in her body, and that she just felt so strong and felt so in control of her body. And it's like, how do more people not know about this? Like, I wish I knew about this in my 20s. Like, I wish I knew I didn't have to kind of destroy my body in those early years to get to what I thought, of this place I wanted to be. And I've never felt so amazing, and I've never looked so amazing. I've never felt so strong and stable. And I need to come on board and kind of use my platform, my megaphone, to like share this with so many people. And that is definitely exactly what she's done. It has been so insane and crazy. And like, it's not even a dream come true because something like this doesn't happen. Like it's insane. Just all of our, our franchises that we've sold and more people finding out about us and our sale, like all of it, whatever you can think has happened, it's definitely helped lift and propel the business forward. But but she's just incredible and how much
Wow.
she just loves, this workout and this
That's
brand.
incredible. That's amazing.
It's not, it's not like every time like someone asks me about it, I just like get the biggest smile. Like, it's insane that like I'm even saying this. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild, but it's awesome. And it's so cool to see that it's transformed your business in a meaningful way. I think
Yeah.
sometimes you see a celebrity hawking a product and how, you know, like I found out recently someone was pushing something and I found out what they made. And I'm like, well, I hope that brand got that money in sales because that is wild that they made that,
Yeah.
$500,000 on one Instagram post. And does that do anything, So that's really cool that she's helped transform your business.
Yeah.
And her body's fucking sick. So goes to
It's
show
pretty sick. Yes.
Pvolve is
Yes.
doing good for her. So I always end my podcast with two questions for my guests. What would we be surprised to know about you, and a piece of advice you'd like to pass on that you either learned the hard way or someone gave to you that you want to share?
I'm like the biggest homebody ever. And like grandma, like I swear my Nana goes to bed later than me. Like I just want to eat dinner at 5 o'clock and get in bed at 8 and never leave my house if I didn't have to. Which definitely COVID made all that worse for sure. Cause I was like that before and now it's trying to, coming out of it on the other side. An advice that I would have for people is really just stay curious. My dad taught me that. I think especially in business, and in life in general, like things are just constantly evolving, whether it's technology or new platforms or like every day there's something new and you kind of can't just like stay at a standstill. You got to always be curious and be learning new things and ask the questions, and both, I think, in your personal life and professional.
I love that. And where can people log on and take the classes remotely? And then if you want to name a couple of the locations people can go, we'll put it in the show notes too, but just for people listening.
Yeah, you can go to pvolve.com and sign up for a trial, order some of the equipment. And on there, you can find all of our locations. I mean, Chicago, New York, West Hollywood, San Diego, Atlanta, Nashville, Salt Lake City, Denver. And I'm gonna miss a bunch of them because I can't keep up. There's quite a few, but we have all of it on our website.
I love it. Thank you for
Thank
joining me
you.
today. Thank you for creating such an incredible workout. I swear that everyone in the front row who's like a diehard has the best ass in the world.
I think I mean, yes, the arms, abs, everything, but I think the booty is one of our specialties,
Yeah,
definitely.
and as someone with the flattest ass in the world, I'm working hard on getting it. So your butts give me hope.
We're gonna do a before and after with you.
I'd love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Without the leggings that cheat.
Love it. Done.
Cool. Well, thank you for coming on today, and
Thank you.
hopefully I'll see you soon.
Definitely. Thank you.
I just wanted to thank you guys for listening to today's episode. I also want to ask you to rate and review the show wherever you listen to podcasts. I know it's a pain in the butt, but it actually helps with search and algorithms. So if you love this podcast, it is an easy way to get it more visible and out there. I also want you to follow me on Instagram at Rebecca Minkoff, at RM Superwomen, and be sure to check out my book, Fearless, The New Rules for Unlocking Creativity, Courage, and Success. Thank you again, and you will hear from me next week.